Hey everyone, with Halloween fast approaching, in today's video I want to look at some more things in Kingdom Hearts that I consider creepy, distressing, unsettling, unnerving, disturbing, sinister, eerie, or ominous. That's a wide range of descriptions, I know, but I think you'll see what I'm trying to get at here if you've played the games. This time I'm looking at the whole series rather than just the first game, so let's get to it. Let's start with something I touched on in the KH1 Creepy Things video. In that I mentioned the Arc, which was seen in KH1 and later is shown off more in Union Cross, and will be seen in Melody of Memory. I might have flubbed the lore a bit with that last time, but regardless, now I want to talk about Apprentice Xehanort's experiments themselves. The stuff that went down in the cells and the Chamber of Repose area is disturbing. Experimenting on people, extracting darkness from their hearts, wanting to cultivate darkness in a pure heart, pumping out Emblem Heartless and causing chaos. I mean, look at these cells, he literally had people locked up in these. He's so cold about it too. In the KH1 reports that he wrote under Ansem's name, he has lines like, "I've provided them both living and non-living samples. They've responded only to the living." Or, "The experiments caused the test subject's heart to collapse, including those of the most stalwart. How fragile our hearts are. My treatment produced no signs of recovery. I confined those who had completely lost their hearts beneath the castle." In a KH3 secret report, he writes, "My pilot studies used a handful of subjects, but none possessed the fortitude to endure them. Ultimately, all suffered mental collapse. I knew it would be a heavy blow to lose a subject as unique as she." I mean, mental collapse? Holy demonetization, that's dark. He's also talking about Subject X here, who had to suffer being locked down now with no memories, only taking solace in Lee and Isa. Talk about distressing. Let's not also forget how he turned the other apprentices into nobodies, and then himself, or how the once great castle of Radiant Garden was corrupted into a twisted factory, or how he took Kairi, put her in the Ark, and then sent her off with intent on finding a Keyblade wielder. The man is, in my opinion, the creepiest version of Xehanort. Like as Terranort, he was whatever, but in that time where he'd forgotten his memories and his appearance had become more like Xehanort's, that's when he's at his most disturbing, I feel. Something I mentioned in my KH3 details video, the final world is host to these stars, the last remnants of people who should be dead but are clinging on to something in the world of the living. They're pretty unsettling to think about, especially again that child talking about going towards the light. And the whole final world has this vibe. It's both a beautiful and eerie place. The music sells us even more, the song named Stranded Beyond, having qualities of peace, serenity, but also finality and sadness. Then after this, when Sora has pieced himself back together, he goes off in search of the hearts of his friends. He uses the power of waking to travel across the worlds of KH3 in a sequence that's reminiscent of the world terminus of KH1. Like with that one, it's disturbing to see the world so empty, with their usual music replaced by the Song of Darkness, Destati. During this, Sora is chasing down the Lich, a Heartless who, according to Xehanort, is special in that it drags hearts down to the depths of darkness. That's pretty creepy. We've gone from the Kingdom Hearts version of Purgatory to essentially a Heartless Reaper dragging your heart down to, well, not hell, but certainly not a nice place to be. Seeing the outline of the protagonists floating there is a nice extra creepy detail. The Keyblade Graveyard is certainly an eerie place. I mean, it's got graveyard in the name. Of course, no bodies or tombstones, but instead we have thousands of Keyblades littered about the place. A reminder of the huge, tragic and senseless battle that happened here in the past. The Keyblades essentially act as a headstone for each fallen warrior, and, well, you can see how many of them there are. The amount of death hanging over this place is staggering. Then there's the battle scars in the land, craters and torn up land as you see here in Birth by Sleep. It's pretty chilling. And, of course, shout out to that music. Then of course Vanitas and Xehanort use the Keyblades of dead people to ride about and attack you. That's pretty disrespectful. Of course they do come to Sora's aid as well, the light of the past helping him. But consider this, if they came to his aid, there's the remnants of people left in them, or in the graveyard, right? Does this mean when Vanitas and Xehanort forcibly use them for evil, these remnants are aware of it? Maybe, maybe not, but it's something sinister to think about. There's a few different cases of creepy villain moments in the series, though one guy that definitely owns this field is Vexen. He's a classic creepy scientist character, who creates replicas of humans, which is kind of disturbing when you think about it. The things he says with that voice too. And of course, how can we forget his original Japanese creepy laugh? Then there's others too. Last time I mentioned Ansem in his brown coat. Well, even when he gains a proper appearance, he has his moments. One example is just after Sora turns into a Heartless. The way he moves towards Kairi with the intent to kill her as her purpose has been served, that's pretty messed up. Then if we look at Chain of Memories, Larxene walking towards Riku Replica and him being terrified of what's going to happen, or then when he later kills Zexion and Axel just stands there, or of course Axel's horrifying way of destroying Vexen. And hell, don't forget that creepy music during Xemnas' demise in KH3. And Disney villains. Of course the Disney villains can be creepy at times as well. One thing I'm quite fond of is cosmic horror, and one moment that brings up feelings of that is the final boss in KH1. You've got this vast expanse of darkness that Ansem calls the Endless Abyss. Then also the black silhouette of the Kingdom Hearts moon unnervingly looming behind the door. There's a slight bit of mysterious dread here. And of course the world of chaos. With the graphics it has, it's not particularly frightening, but imagine if it was more gritty, realistic, and with current day graphics. This thing would look disgusting, monstrous, and nightmarish, especially the face on the front. Finally, add in the organ music at the end when Ansem speaks to Kingdom Hearts, and you've got yourself a really cool and sinister vibe throughout this sequence. A lot of Heartless in this series have quite comical designs, especially Emblem Heartless that have to fit in with the Disney world that they're spawning in. But that doesn't mean Heartless can't be disturbing too. Many pureblood Heartless have creepy designs. Dark Balls, Darkseid, and the Dark Hide that lurks in wait for Aqua are notable examples of this. There's also the Chimera, for an example of an Emblem Heartless with a creepy design, although that's to be expected in Halloween Town. Also on that note, in KH2 the game considers Finkelstein's experiment as an artificial Heartless, even giving Wisdom Form XP, which is odd but it's definitely a creepy looking thing. Angelic Amber from KH3 is also quite spooky with her movements and her unemotional face. Finally, something rather creepy from Days is a message on a wall in the Twilight Town tunnels, which I'm showing on screen. I assume this is about the Veil Lizard that Roxas is hunting down, but man, that's quite a disturbing message to find in a tunnel. Now, from Heartless to their counterparts, the Nobodies. Nobodies have a very unnerving vibe to them. The fact that they're the bodies of former whole beings is somehow more creepy than the Heartless. Imagine, someone you know gets turned into a Heartless, and what's left of their body has served to form this revenant, which can often have creepy qualities. They don't have eyes, which to me is always disturbing, makes me think of deep-sea creatures, and the way they move and act is so unnatural. The strongest will people, of course, retain a human appearance, but as we've seen, they can be quite cold and sinister villains. Look at the difference between Dylan and Zaldin, for example. As for their home, the world that never was, well, I mentioned on my KH2 backgrounds video that the massive size and scale of this place is a touch of cosmic horror to me anyway, and that castle looming over everything is certainly intimidating. You know, dark, empty cities, they have a bit of a spooky vibe too. The Foretellers aren't exactly scary villains, what with their animal masks and just general aesthetic, but Luxu, however, he's definitely got a very disturbing element to him. I mean, look at him to start with, he's a pretty quiet, innocent seeming guy, but now he's Xigbar, his personality is very different, and it makes you think, all that time being alive, passing from one vessel to the next, what state of mind is he in now? Is he going slightly mad? Perhaps, and on that note too, think about all the people he's possessed. In his words, as many as it takes. He's used and discarded all these people over the years, essentially killing them. I mean, we don't know what happens to the people, I guess, that he's possessed, but I'm going to assume it's not a happy outcome. It's quite creepy to think about. And then his master too, he may be funny and eccentric, but he has those moments where he becomes quite intimidating. It's the mood shifts and the unpredictable nature that make the Master of Masters a real sinister character. Not to mention him orchestrating this whole plan, seeing into the future through the gazing eye, his own eye. Not sure if he means that literally or figuratively, but it's kinda creepy either way. We're so used to music playing nearly constantly in Kingdom Hearts, that when it stops, it can really grab our attention. Sometimes this gives a creepy effect. One example would be the time freeze moment in Data Twilight Town. Poor Roxas is confused enough as it is, and then for us the player, the peaceful and gentle Twilight Time music stops, leaving us with a much more empty, sinister feeling setting. The combat music does play for enemies, but other than that it's nothing but the ambient sounds like your own footsteps. Very effective, and another example could be the opening to End of the World in KH1, where no music plays as you first set eyes upon the vast emptiness of dying worlds. It's amazing how effective just a small change like this can be. Finally, I could not complete this list without mentioning that most creepy of places, Castle Oblivion. I don't know why the creators of Land of Departure decided to make this alternate version so creepy. I guess it's to deter people from searching it. Everything about this place is spooky. The design, the empty rooms, the organ music, especially that 13th floor track that fills you with a sense of dread. Those huge drops into the void you see on the edges of the rooms in ReCoM. Like I said, the whole place is creepy. The story that takes place here is also one of Kingdom Hearts' most disturbing to think about. The idea of losing your memories piece by piece and questioning what's real is not a nice one. Castle Oblivion is truly one of Kingdom Hearts' most sinister places. And that's it. I know there are different levels of creepy here, and some people might not agree on points because it's subjective after all, but these were just some things I could find in a Disney franchise. You know, Kingdom Hearts has a lot of charm and silliness, but there's still parts of it that make you go, oh, that's a bit disturbing, or at least I do. But yeah, anything else you can think of, write it in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.